There I am. Live and well. Yeah, I'm live and I am alive at the same time. Isn't it amazing? No one has joined us yet, though. There's Teresa. Yes, you are definitely first today. You are number one. I love how they have those little crowns. Mama, it, Mama Sita Love. Hello, I haven't been here a while. You do, in fact, look well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Robert says, I am alive too, and without gas. That's a good thing. And Siofra, you look wonderful energy today. Thank you. I appreciate that.
In that case, guess I better join.
I guess you better. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
I know it is.
Answering, I know, because I told you had comments on your newest video. So yay. Yay for that.
There we go. All right.
Ian has arrived as well. So Friday the 20th, equinox, yay. Ian says, here I am. And Teresa says, what kind of gas? Hello, Ian, and the spirits he evoked today, says Robert.
So,
what kind? No oil. Iran war, you know, shortage already. Oh, yeah, it's everywhere. It has interfered with my plans of going to visit my mother. I have to wait for them to finish whatever this process is so that the prices can come down so I can afford the plane ticket. It's annoying. Teresa says, I think Siofra and I were thinking of different gas. Well, yeah. Robert says, ha ha. And I'm like, it's good if you can pass gas, because if you can't, you're in trouble. It's
yeah,
a bad
like
thing.
Bunnies can't pass gas.
Right, which is why you have to be very careful what you feed them. Because if you feed bunny the wrong thing, you could kill your bunny. It's a terrible way to go for a bunny, to have gas and not be able to pass it. Painful. We want bunnies to be healthy. And he just had his second birthday on Friday, so he turned 2 on the equinox. He's an equinox bunny, a true spring guy. He's a spring beast. Yep. Robert says tonight we could skip the gas topic and talk witchy. I'm in favor of that. Why not? Robert says, I like Bunny. Those animals have interesting abilities. They are so adorable, too. Someone asked me if we gave him a birthday party. I says, every day is a birthday for a bunny. You don't have to do something special. Every day is special. Croc says, hello, friends. Hi, Croc. Yes, bunnies are cute. And he does this amazing thing when he's expecting something good, like food or whatnot like that. When he dances, he shakes his head like a rock star. You think he'd be on like the runway or something. His head goes like, phew, like this. He just goes.
And he's so furry. He's got this big top knot on his head.
That's right.
Like, yep.
He shakes that hair like a, yep, listening to his own music. And he's pretty adorable, and then runs around your feet. Carla says, hi, Siofra and Ian. How was your week? Hi, everyone. And Robert says, hi, Carla. Our week was productive. A lot of things have shifted, and they've shifted in the right direction, so we're pretty pleased. Rock says, Siofra, you look lovely. Also love the pendant you are wearing today. Yeah, I've been wearing this a lot, actually. This is the piece of selenite I made into a pendant, and I really like the energy of this, and it's been helping me with all the shifting that's been going on. And like when I'm going to the grocery store and stuff, and I'm wearing that, and I can feel like I'm in a pillar of light. It's just really cool. So I can get more of these. I've got one more piece already. I'm going to make into a pendant to sell, but I really love it. And this week I redid my amethyst crown for the amethyst crystal web project because I didn't like the weight of it and how it was sitting and everything. So I took the beads apart and I made a new thing, and it fits really well and it's not too heavy. Um, and I figured out how to make like the top part and so forth. So it's got two sizes of amethyst and some selenite with it. I really like adding selenite to things like this that I do because it helps to continue to charge it all the time. So it's way cool. So that was one thing I did get accomplished this week, getting that redone in time for the full moon, which I was looking up, which is going to be April 1st. So we're going to be doing it Saturday night because I don't want to do it Sunday after we do our live show because that's like too much stuff. And of course, Saturday is going to be the No Kings protest. So it'll be an exciting day for some people. Yeah. And Carla says, hi, Robert. Robert says, yes, they shifted a lot on my side also. I have made tons of energy work and it worked well. My crystal wands are like lightning rods. Black stones work so well. Awesome. Teresa says, great crown. I need to make myself a crown. And Carla says, that's good to hear. My cards are good, but I'm still feeling crappy, Siofra. It's beautiful. Thank you. And Croc says, that's awesome. And I'm actually thinking of posting this to my Etsy page and people can order a custom crown, tell me what stones they want to have, and I'll see what I have lying around or buy some, so you can get something, a similar design for that. So it'll be specific to your needs and so forth. I thought that might be a good idea. And I'm going to focus this coming week on getting the rest of the pendants I've already made up on my site and 2 new wands that I haven't gotten up there so that people can see those. I still have 3 tops I haven't made into wands yet. So, I've got my work cut out for me, but it's fun knowing that there's things I can do. And one of my clients actually wants me to make them a pin. So I have one small piece of that jade leaf left, and I'm going to turn that into a Tree of Life pin, which is what she wants. But I had to order some other color of beads because she wants it to say fall. So I'm ordering some orange beads, and I've got some yellow beads and different size wire that'll fit because the yellow's too tiny. It's the Czech seed beads, and their holes are really tiny. And so I can't put it through twice in order to make the leaf. So I ordered some thinner wire to see if I wanted to put orange and yellow leaves on it, and maybe some of my sunstone. I don't know, I haven't decided what stone to use for the flowers, as it were. But that'll be fun, trying to figure out how to do a pin. That'll be a different thing altogether. So, yeah. Robert says, hey, that reminds me, a crown I should do ASAP. Can I use brass for a crown? Yeah, why not? I know brass is 67% copper and 33% zinc.
Yeah, brass is referred to mercury in general, and that's the metal you use if you're making a mercury talisman. You make it out of brass. So, yeah.
I don't see any reason why you can't use it for a crown.
No, I mean, it goes in your head after all. Sort of related to mercury. I mean,
yeah. And Croc says, fabulous on the Etsy stuff. Thank you. I was reading some of my reviews today because I hadn't looked at them in a while, and so I really appreciate all the positive comments that people have left on my store. So really appreciate all that. It's been great. I sure have a hard time making things and then letting them go. So, when you buy something from me, it's a struggle. And I'm like, oh. But I with the wands especially, I really like that people find one that says something to them and is meaningful to them, and it becomes a part of their practice and so forth. It's satisfying that way. So yeah, Carla's laughing. What can I say? I wear everything that I make at least for a day so I can, feel the energy of it and so forth. So they all have a little piece of me in them. Well, between the making and stuff like that, they obviously do, because I put my energy into the creation of it and thought and whatnot into figuring out what I want to put together and how I want it to look and so forth. So yeah, it's fun. I enjoy myself. And so that's just a good thing. But we've had other stuff happening, so I'm focused on a few things that way. Anyway, equinox, yay. Sun's coming back for us here in the north, yay. Sorry guys, it's going away in the south. Oh well. But you know, everything has a season, blah blah. But what do we want to talk about today? I've sort of been doing my own version of spring cleaning, I guess. Started about a month ago. Just inspired to do little things here and there and putting things in place. It's just sort of an energetic shift, I think. Carla says, I'm seeing a lot of bananas lately. Oh, yeah, you do that banana magic. That's why. I have bananas because I buy them. So when I buy them, I see them. And the bunny loves them. He loves the bananas. Yep, he got a piece today. He smells them and comes running over to my chair. You got a banana, lady? Hey, give me a piece. Come on, you can do it. He's funny. Carla says, same with spring cleaning stuff. And sort of mentally clearing out the cobwebs and so forth. Yeah, it was a good time for doing that. Clearing things out, rearranging stuff. And Mercury's not retrograde anymore, so that helps, I'm sure, for those who get affected by it. So yay. Yay for that. Making notes?
Oh, just trying to think of a magic topic.
Ah, I see. Carla says they have some kind of commercial that I have no idea what they're selling, but they're carrying a half-peeled banana. Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. If I see it, maybe I can figure out what it is, but that's not a very good commercial if you can't tell what they're selling, in my opinion. I've seen things like that in the past, and I'm like, hello? You made us watch it, we were intrigued, and now we have no idea why and what you're doing. So fail as far as being a good advertisement goes. Teresa says the cat, Shorty, I found a home for, was stressed out, and the guy took him into bed, and Shorty stayed there purring. Amazing for a semi-feral cat who has not been handled. That's fantastic. Awesome. Good for Shorty and the guy. That's great. Carla says, when I send someone a picture in a text, the banana comes up as my cursor. Well, you are in charge of your cursor. If you want to keep the banana, that's up to you. Nice to be in charge of your own life. Robert says, banana magic? Yes. Apparently there was a whole bunch of banana magic going on. I didn't do it. I did other magic, but hey, you know. We all have our thing. Carla says, and I have no idea why though. Because it's spying on you and it's seen your interest in the banana and so it's decided to be helpful. It's amazing how much our computers actually listen to what we do. And our phones, of course, are always listening. So your phone talks to your computer and and they all go like, hey, bananas are the thing. Let's do more bananas. Barbara says, and what was going on with that fruit? I wasn't doing it. It was Carla, so if she wants to tell you, she can. I think maybe Teresa, too. It is, I know it is, yes, listening. It's annoying sometimes. They're not helpful, especially after you buy something, and then everything comes up with what you bought, wanting to know if you'd like to buy more. And I'm like, yeah, there's another fail in technology. I already purchased the item I needed. I only need one. It's not like I'm a company. Yeah. Then they just annoy me. Computers, technology, you've got to control it. That's all there is to that. Robert says, well, by 2030, we will own nothing and be unhappy. Happy, I meant. Oh, good. I'm glad we will own nothing and be happy. Is it going to be like Star Trek? I would love a Star Trek thing. That'd be a great ending, don't you think? Yeah, where money is no longer a thing and you just get the education you need based upon your talent and your interest and so forth, and your health care is already taken care of, and you don't need
Well,
a salary because
you
you already have a
know,
place to live. And
let's think about this. You got two of those already. Most of the world offers free, well, the civilized world offers free education. Many
yes, and
countries
health care
now.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So,
they give you enough money for
yeah.
transportation and a place to live and for buying food, and so you don't have to worry about those things. That would be a great. I would love that. Barbara says, yes, Star Trek food replicator would be nice.
Yes, it would.
I'm not sure what the energy consumption would be for that, though.
I don't care. We'll all get micro nuclear reactors to
Oh,
run 'em.
micro-nuclear reactors. Yeah,
That's
okay.
right.
I don't know if I want one of those in my house.
Well, be one of those little miniature fusion reactors they're playing with
Oh,
now.
those. That'd be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, see, they won't melt.
And then you just add ice to it or water to it or whatever in order to feed it. So it makes its own fuel. Whatever it makes it out
Maybe
of.
heavy water.
Yeah. Haley says, yes, I'm in. I'm all in for the Star Trek space communism style revamp. We need it. Yes. Yay. I'm so glad that they envisioned that, and they envisioned it so long ago, in the 60s. It's like, and it's still considered like insane. Carla says, I'm so happy for Shorty. Okay, who's Shorty? Oh, the cat. Gotcha. I already went past that and didn't even remember, and I'm happy for Shorty too. Barbara says, I like that word, revamp. In magic, I think it means what it said, a sort of transmutation. Yep. Yeah, you can take the same elements and put them in a different configuration and come out with a completely different result at the end. It's like, that's one of the things that's interesting about magic. You're using the same base energetic pieces, and you're just arranging them in slightly and different focuses and stuff like that in order to push a result or push something in a direction that will then become a result or what have you. It's pretty fascinating. Teresa says, I'm also happy for Shorty and his mom, who I took in. I have renamed her Nixie. Cool. Barbara says, yeah, energy doesn't die. Practical. Very practical. That's why they call the movie Practical Magic, right? They're making a second one of those. I think they're in production. Practical Magic 2 with the same cast. Yeah. I'll be interested in the results. See what it looks like. Billy says, at Robert Hart's. Robert says, I've made a wand with green calcite and a small piece of shungite, and I use it to transmute. Siofra, is there a wand you use for that? All of my wands are transmuting in one way or another, so it depends on what I'm trying to focus on. I have all the planetary wands as well. Well, I still need to make 2 elemental wands. So I'm minus fire and earth, which I've been thinking about lately. I have all the stuff I need for the fire wand. And so I am specific with the energy source that I'm using for the purpose, with each wand being differently. And I also have the fairy wand, and I have the banishing wand, so, and I have a talking stick wand kind of thing, which we haven't used in a long time because we haven't needed it. But yeah, they all have their own unique energy signature and own energy source, so they're always charging themselves up and so forth. Carlos says, Robert, it was sympathetic chaos magic where there was a large umbrella of items for similar things, and we used a banana. You drew a certain sigil, and you chose a term that you write on it and let it rot. As it rots, so does the thing you wrote. Robert says, Carla, I do once in a while chaos magic. I like to create sigils. The trick is to figure out what suits your particular brain and life experiences and biases and prejudices and understandings and so forth, because we're all so different when it comes to that. And so when you're designing a spell or doing magic or whatever, it's like it's not there's one right and there's not a right way and a wrong way so much as there is a lot of different ways of accomplishing the same end using different. You got to fit your own brain process so that you're focused in the right direction. That's how you help yourself to focus. If you tried to do something that was completely against your way of thinking, it would be extremely difficult and probably not very powerful, I would think. Because it's, your will is certainly a part of the equation. And if you're not focused in the right direction, your will doesn't work as well. Ellie says, have you made a video about the talking stick before? I'm intrigued. I'll have to look and see. I think I did a video on a lot of my wands, and I'm not sure if I did the talking stick. I might have. And the stones that I put in it when I'm making it, it's like they all mean something to me in a relationship with each other to create the purpose for which it was made, to clear someone's mind, make them tell the truth or have them tell the truth, and stay on topic and focused and so forth, and not be judging other people for what they're saying, but able to listen to other people when they have the stick. But yeah, I'll look and see. Robert says, a talking stick? Wow. Well, it's a wand-sized talking stick. And, it's actually fairly common in a lot of different, not just traditions, but environments and so forth, that people are using an object, and often it's a stick, to give someone the floor so other people stop interrupting them. Most people don't know how to listen. And this is a good tool to teach people how to listen, because if the rules are you have the floor as long as you have the talking stick.
Yeah. And I want to say, that was one of the first things I ever experienced actually,
All right.
of an external experience was I was handed a talking stick by a fairly accomplished Wiccan in her little group one day. And that, when I picked that up, that had such a charge on it. It went right down to my heart. It was clearly charged up for speaking from the heart. And it really zapped me so that I was very, noticed it very much. It was one of the first physical examples of something I could really feel.
Right, to know that magic is real.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Pixie says, hi, Siofra and Ian. Hi, Pixie. Welcome. Carla says, I'm slightly eclectic, and that suited the situation. That was a fun one, and it seems to have created an egregore. That's good. It'll get bigger next year. Awesome. Robert says, a money egregore can be made, I suppose. Abundance. I suppose. Depending on, like I said, on how your mind works and so forth, and what you decide to do and how you decide to do it. One of the things I like about magic as a path, it's very adaptable to your uniqueness. And you don't have to give up who you are in order to follow it. Unlike most religions have rules about what you are and aren't allowed to be or do. And therefore, if you follow them and you aren't 100% compatible with their views, you're always trying to suppress or repress or abandon a part of yourself and deny who you are, so you never are completely whole. And that's one of the things that I like about magic as a path. You can actually use it to become whole and not leave out parts of yourself because these are not okay, kind of thing. You can make them okay or make them different or whatever you want to do. Carla says, I'd like to try a money bowl. Robert says, some occult practitioners keep saying there is a difference between the will and will. It was hard to grasp the meaning. Any insights?
Sounds like they're talking personal will, that is, that you think you want to do something, or your, what you'd call your true will, which would be more your entire purpose for existence, your purpose in life, your real, yeah, it's beyond the personal will. That's the idea. Personal will is like, well, I may will to go and get myself a cup of coffee, but your true will is more like, the the thing you're supposed to accomplish in this life, kind of the meaning of who you are and stuff. And so that would be my take on it.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
The idea of true will, the saying, do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law, love under will. I think in that phrase they're talking about true will, and the true will is your true nature, who you truly are. And going against that is not good for you or for anyone else around you. So, and a lot of people misinterpreted that as meaning whatever the heck they decided they wanted to do was their will, therefore they can do anything they want, regardless of the consequences to other people or themselves. And that's not what they're talking about, in our opinion.
Well, Crowley pretty much says it flat out, that way. That's,
Yep.
Your true will, yeah.
So Beth says, hi, Siofra, Ian in chat. Hi, Beth. Robert says, hey, Beth. Dixie says, I had a fun moment yesterday in a sun shower with my wand and staff. I set some intentions and just sang fairy songs. It was so fun. I did a sketch of it. It was a magical day here yesterday. That's fabulous. I love having magical days. Beth says, hi, Robert. Briella says, hello. Hi, Briella. How are you? Welcome. What about all these great meteors that are being exploding during the day? We've had 2 now. He says, Briella says, good. Yay. Glad to hear that you're doing good. I don't get my second eye surgery until the 8th of April, I think. But I see the eye doctor again this coming week to have the first one he did checked on the 3-week date, I guess. They do 2 after they do the surgery. So Max Paulette says, imagine if luck was real, like you could imbue things with luck in a lab. Ah!
That would be nice.
Carla says, wow, right? She's a little pissed. It would be wonderful if you could actually do that, but then again, people's luck is different, right? So what's their idea of luck and what's mine? And Briella says, do you notice a difference in sight? Absolutely. I have one with a cataract and one without. And my brain is now adapted to the one without the cataract, so the colors are all pretty much bright and clear, unless I specifically close my eye and then look at things. And things are sort of gray dim. Like I can look at the purple on our wall, for example. My eyes, both eyes, I can see the color. I close this eye, and it's just like, yeah, it kind of dampens everything down. So it's very distinct difference in sight. So I'm looking forward to having the second one done so both eyes see clearly. It'll be great. That says, Briella, hi. Briella says, hey, Beth. Yep. When I'm trying with luck stuff, I'm always phrasing things like, as long as this isn't going to cause someone else harm and it's in my best interest, that kind of stuff. Because, like, I don't want someone in my family to die to leave me an inheritance, for example. That's not how I want to make money. But, if you're not specific, that could be what happened. If you're just doing a general, this is what I want kind of a thing, and the universe figures out how to get it to you. So, yeah, I am somewhat cautious when it comes to asking for things like that. Briella says, does anyone else feel a lot of anxiety lately? I'm not watching the news much at the moment, so the answer for me is yes. I have plenty of anxiety about the world and what it's doing and where it's going to end it and how it's going to happen and whether we're going to survive it or not, all that jazz. But there are things I can't control, so I really try to focus down on things that I can, which helps the anxiety. Teresa says, I had astigmatism and cataracts, and I was seeing double. The surgery got rid of all that, including the astigmatism. Glad I got both eyes done at the same time. Yeah, that's fantastic. They don't do that here, but I'm fine with waiting and making sure the one eye heals, and it'll be fine. Beth says absolutely, and Briella says I'm avoiding the news. Yeah, it's like there's just some things. I talked to my sister this morning, and she is not. So I heard a lot of stuff. And I'm like, okay, thank you. It's just, woo. Bill says, but that egregore is losing power or crashing out, and people are going batty. Teresa says at least one of the states took him off the ballot. Can every state do that? That might be a way to go. Briella says the old guard. Beth says, Siofra, I already see how it's going to happen. Yeah, I know, I see it too, but maybe we're wrong. And there's hope on the other side. Carla says, I have astigmatism too. Oh, Carla, I'm sorry if you're seeing double. That must be disorienting. Hopefully this time when I get it done, they won't yell at me for trying to turn my head, which I don't remember trying to do and had no idea I was trying to do while he was doing the first surgery. He's like, stop that. But really, some of the experiences I had recently when it comes to medical stuff, it's good that I'm not a pushover, because I had one of my providers want to get me on something that I had misgivings about, and I waited to talk to my actual doctor, and she's like, no, you should not do that. That is a bad idea. And I'm like, yeah, I thought it might be, and I don't think it was her place to encourage me to do it at all. I think I got her in trouble. But, she shouldn't be doing it. It was out of her wheelhouse. It's not her job to talk about osteoporosis medication and whether or not I should be on it. And she was using fear tactics on me. So you got to watch out for other people's, what they do. They're pushy. When they push, don't let yourself just get pushed around. Take the time that you need to check it out and do it the right way. So, Riella says, I see something different. Some supernatural events in April. Well, that'd be interesting if that's the case. I'm all in favor of supernatural events, I think. And really, it's our egos that are looking, so what do we know? Just wait and see. Because the future is always in flux, it's always changing. Things that we say may come true and may not. It doesn't necessarily mean that we were completely wrong. There's that as well. Because we aren't the only person on the planet who's making these kind of choices and stuff like that. Bella says, yep, wait and see. It always annoys me when quote unquote psychics are absolutely sure about everything that they see and, make statements to that effect. Like, yeah, free will, I got that. I have not cooperated with any number of prognostications, not fications. That'd be something different. Anyway, Barbara says, with so many unhappy and on the offensive, we will have a change. I was thinking how if the aliens invaded, we'd all be united, right, against a common foe. But then afterwards, it would all go back to the way it is because we haven't learned whatever it is we're supposed to learn. And so it wouldn't do us any good. So that idea is out the window. Riel says, but it's not going to work. That says, I want to be wrong. I've had times when I was hoping I was wrong and turned out to be right, and other times that I was wrong. So, we'll see. I hope you're wrong too. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we're all completely surprised and everything just goes like, woo! That'd be awesome. But in the meantime, Robert says maybe being wrong is right. maybe that it is. So Briala says exactly. But in the meantime, you focus on what you need in yourself and your life and your people. Keep them safe and close to you and protect it as much as you can and do what we can magically to defend and protect ourselves and our loved ones. It's like I used to think if the world went crazy and came to an end or whatever, it'd be my fault because I hadn't done something I was supposed to do, and I realized that that's not true. I'm only responsible for the parts that I can be in and the parts that I can control. Everyone else has got their own job to do. So if it happens, it's their fault, not mine. Briella says, we need an awesome surprise. Robert says, no one can steal our spirits. Carla says, all I got was TikTok time is up. I'll look again Friday. That's not for us, though. That's for them. Briella says, yeah. Robert says, Hecate told me in a dream once, the greatest gift is to exist. The rest are just details. She was right. Yeah. And Moida said, the universe has its own reason for being. It's like life is the gift. Being able to be aware of life is a gift. What we do with it is what we do with it. And they are just details.
No, our job is to interact. That's what we're here for. I put a lot of questioning at one point. You know, what's the point? What are we here for? What are we to accomplish on this earth in general? And it's basically it's to interact with the universe on whatever level. So, you know, in that way, if you look at it like that, your everyday becomes a spiritual practice on how you interact with things in the universe, and I don't always react well, but you know, that shows me where I need to change.
Yeah, that's a fact. I've had some lovely comments from strangers when I go grocery shopping, so that's been kind of fun. Where a random person would come up and says, I love the way you look. I say, thank you. Robert says, oh, Briella says, matriarchy now. Well, I'm not sure that that's the solution either, because there's a lot of women that aren't right in the head. Beth says, I've got all my seeds planted for my garden. It's always a joy to watch things grow, and the nature spirits love it. Yep, feeding your family, feeding the world. Robert says, oh, by the way, Siofra or Ian, in occultism, what is a tesseract? Well, tesseract is a term from a book.
Oh, yeah. Tesseract is supposedly a three-dimensional representation of a two-dimensional object, and I don't know how anybody might use that in occultism myself. I you know, I've seen it thrown around a little bit, but I don't know what they do with it or anything.
They use it in A Wrinkle in Time, in that book.
Well,
That's the first time I actually saw the word. Carla says, Beth, gardens are a gift also. Carla says, isn't that the truth? Some of the ladies. Max says, imagine if you had a guardian astral larva. Well, if it was a guardian,
well,
it shouldn't be a larva.
well, yeah, we're confusing our terms here. You can have a guardian. You can make a guardian astral being like an elemental or something through particular practices and things, but a larva implies it feeds off you and is a parasite off your own energy, so you wouldn't want that.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you know, generally if you build them, you need some way to energize them. Some religions will feed them with like food offerings and things like that, and basically they make a guardian. Like Santeria might have, like Eliwa lives in a concrete head, and he's that kind of a thing. He lives in a concrete head, and he might have a nail poking out the top, that kind of thing. And he's more or less the equivalent of Mercury. So he's a really fast deity, and he clears the way for you and does things. So it's kind of like that. So there are lots of created deities. When you get given one in Santeria, they give birth to it and put it inside the statue of the head. And I don't know what all that consists of. I think some blood magic is probably used, but I'm just guessing there. So yeah, those things are there, but they need to be done with caution because you can have one of those turn into a larva type of thing and suck off your own energy or off other people's energy. If you let them get too, they can get too out of control and then just take off and start feeding off others and things. So you have to be careful with dealing with those kind of beings at all. Keep them fully under control.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Beth says, yes, Robert, they are. Riella says, well, not a dominant thing like patriarchy, but cooperation. Matriarchy is about cooperation. It is in its real form, definitely. Robert says, yes, in science, tesseract is a means to go beyond the veil and reshape things, if my memory is exact.
Yeah, I misstated that for what it's worth. The geometrical thing is supposed to be a three-dimensional representation of four-dimensional space-time or something like
Yeah,
that.
not two-dimensional.
Yeah, yeah, it's just the opposite. Yeah,
Okay.
it's supposed to be bringing as close to we can get as an image of a, you know, bigger space-time than we have.
So Carla says, I loved A Wrinkle in Time. I read it as a little girl. Me too. And it is still one of my favorite books. Teresa says, or Robert says, Carla Little. Teresa says, I planted some seeds with trepidation, hoping that I am competent enough gardener, and I had the realization that the seeds are grateful to have the opportunity to sprout. No skill needed on my part. Well, that's awesome. Teresa says, that is, the seeds are not offended by my less than skillful gardening know-how. That's true. They don't have those kind of qualifiers in their makeup. They don't judge us like that. They go like, oh, I'm not going to garden. I'm definitely not going to sprout for this person because she's an idiot. It's like, no. Like, yay, I'm alive. I try my best. Beth says to Teresa, hearts. Melissa says, hi, Siofra, Ian, and everyone. Hi, Melissa. Robert says, thanks, Beth. Sending Tesseract to you, too. And Carla says, Robert, haha. Robert says, Carla, you could also be with Tesseract. All of you have to do is ask. And all this talk about garden makes me hungry. Well, go get yourself a snack, for heaven's sakes. Don't starve to death. You need to eat, eat. Food is good. Max says, copy that. Well, yeah, it's just terminology. And although we try not to be, annoying about it, when it comes to magical stuff, sometimes the term can make a difference as far as how you think about it and what you attract.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get too far into definitions of things, and that can become an annoyance in and of itself. Or a hindrance, really.
Yeah, I figure the most important thing is making sure you're talking about the same thing, because
Right.
it's so easy for words to mean a little bit different thing to different people, and they just a slight difference, but it might make a difference in the way it's interpreted or perceived, or what you're trying to say. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it's important, but
Communication.
You can't get
Yeah.
overdone or pedantic on it, or you just get irritating. You
Yeah,
turn into a
it's
grammar
about
Nazi.
communication. It's not like I'm judging you because you said it wrong. It's
Yeah,
about communication.
exactly.
Robert says, ahead of you, Siofra, a steak is in the making right now. Good. Melissa says, it is official. My public charity was approved by the IRS, Siofra. Fantastic. Congratulations. Carla says, we just had some pepperoni pizza. I'm glad people are eating. We had lunch too. I made some beef stew a couple of days ago, and it tastes better every day.
Yep.
I love how that works. And it lasts for days. It's great. Then I don't have to cook every day. Robert says, yeah, the irony is definitive, also associate with define, or to define a word that could end up definitive. The language is magic in many things. And then Max Paula has got a spinning something. Ah, she retracted the message. That's why it was spinning. Robert says, well, food magic was rarely discussed. Maybe we could continue. Oh, we have definitely discussed food magic. Carlos says, it marinates. That sounds good. Depending on what you put in your ingredients. Making food is a magical operation. You're transforming one substance by applying elements and making something else out of it.
That's true, but if you put some magical intention into it, then you really got something.
Exactly. So if you put like magical intention in the things you're working with, you're transforming the food into something that's not just great food, but also more than that. Melissa says, is food and magic the topic today? It depends on how far we go with this. Robert says, well, besides banana, oh, you mean kitchen magic? Yeah, that subject came. Well, I mean, we use food products and stuff like that in spell work sometimes. Onions, potatoes, lemons, bananas, whatever, and use the natural properties of that food for specific purposes and so forth. So food has always been a part of that kind of thing. Carla's laughing at Robert. Teresa says, I should try to program cheesecake to cause my body to burn fat quickly.
I agree.
Good luck with that. That'd be
I
awesome.
tell you, cheesecake was absolutely my favorite food in the whole universe, and then I became
Allergic
hugely
to
lactose
milk.
intolerant. Yep.
And allergic to the milk protein, not just lactose intolerant.
Yep.
And Paula says, grin. Robert says, lemons, yay, to purify a place or an object. Yeah, they're very good for water. I love putting some rosemary and a slice of lemon or lime in the water as a wonderful, refreshing kind of drink. I was thinking about doing that the other day. So I need to do that. Carla says, we could make lemon pound cake. I'm not sure if that'll land or not, but it is a joke. So make a lemon pound cake? Is that the joke part? You know me, I'm too literal. I don't get jokes. Is pounding like a sexual term?
Key lime pie cheesecake, that was my favorite. I think key lime cheese.
Melissa says, have you had tofu cheesecake? No. I'm not that much into cheesecake to try and find a substitute.
They want to know who runs the Akashic Records.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Who runs the Akashic Records? That's a really stupid question. That's not got an answer. No one is running.
I thought you would like that.
Oh yeah, the Akashic Records. Robert says, if a lemon goes bad in 1 week on your counter, some say it's because toxic energy is in the room.
Obviously, it's the Akashic DJ, right?
Ah, who's in charge of the records? The DJ.
Akashic Records, the cosmic DJ.
I got you. Okay.
Sorry.
And what is the cosmic DJ's name? Beth says, put love and light with herbs in your food and everyone knowing what's in it. Watch Kitchen Love magic happen. Paula says, lots of hearts. And Robert says, I will program the steak to transform me into a vampire because red meat has blood. That makes me a Nosferatu.
And you know what we're talking about? We're talking about the Eucharist. You know, you think about those Catholics, that makes them cannibals or eating Jesus' flesh. So, yeah, you stay away from those cannibals. Sorry.
Watch out. Carol says, I'm sorry, a musician by the name of Afro Man was sued by the cops because he made a parody song of them. He won against them, and Lemon Pound Cake is one of the hits. I saw something about that, but since I wasn't familiar with him or his music, I just saw that he won a defamation lawsuit, and I thought, good, you probably should have won.
Oh, look at what. Yeah, next one.
Haley says, laughed my ass off. It's a joke about Lemon Pound Cake, the song. Okay, that we just heard. Afro Man wrote about the cops who broke into his house and also ate his mom's cake while they stole his money. Ah, bad men. Beth says, let them have cheesecake. Robert says, wow, Ian, nice insight. Carlos says, that's exactly what it is, Ian. And Robert says, cheese is getting super pricey. Carlos says, drink my blood, eat my body. Yep. Definitely vampire cannibal. Sort of a combo thing. I think we can turn off the heat at this point.
Oh, sure.
I have long sleeves on. Well,
it's getting hot in here anyway.
3/4 inch sleeves or 3/4 length sleeves. Yeah, but they don't like it when you talk about that. It is a way of invoking, though. It's an invocation.
Well, it's actually a completely valid magical act. I
Right.
just like to make fun of it.
It's an invocation kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're trying to imbue those properties within yourself and allow that energy to come in you and become a part of you.
Well, and that's one of the main methods in the Barden stuff I'm doing. We'll get to that eventually. That's one of the main methods of spiritualizing yourself is by Eucharist, by charging up your food and what you breathe, your air too that you breathe in, not just your food.
Carla says, I literally laughed out loud on that comparison. And Beth says, I've had vegan cheesecake before. It's pretty good. Yeah, we had this really nice vegan cheese we found. And we were really enjoying it. And then they changed the formula, and he's now allergic to it. So they have added a milk protein of some kind to their vegan cheese.
Just low enough they don't have to list it as milk. But
and we're like, why we had a cheddar cheese we could eat. I could make grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff, just for fun, and not kill him.
The provolone still is good though.
Yeah, there's still a
You
few of
still eat
the cream cheese seems to
provolone,
work,
yeah.
and the cream cheese you could make cheesecake with. So, but you'd have to buy a lot of it, and that stuff's not cheap. A small brick of it's like $5, so it'd be a very expensive cheesecake. Robert says, invoke means enter my energy field. Evoke means come, not in me, though. True? Yes, absolutely. And a lot of people get that confused. They use the terms like interchangeably, but they're completely different.
Yes.
When you're evoking an energy, it's outside of you, so you can interact with it. When you're invoking an energy, you're trying to take it inside of you to become it or to learn about it.
Yep, so exactly right.
And you're right, and it's in the word. In is in, and E is out. That's what those, qualifiers mean in front of voke. Robert says, Carla, blood is the light. Dracula said that. Max says, is it okay to practice black magic? Well, you can practice it all you want and see what the consequences happen to be.
It
depends on definition.
Yes, so magic is magic.
Not black or white.
Black magic is used for the intention of harming someone. If you're using it for the intention of helping someone, then it's not black magic. But you have to discriminate between, different types of beings and things if you're talking about using a being for it. But
yeah.
So that comes under the rule of karma. If you do black magic, you will face consequences relating precisely to what you did, and it's not a matter of any being judging you. It's an automatic energy exchange that happens with the universe. You do something negative and it sends something negative back to you. It's not like on Earth positive and negative attracts, but like on the energetic planes and the astral plane, you send out negative, you get back negative. So it'll come back around to you in one way or the other, and the amount will come back to you depending on how much damage or harm you do to other people and things. And it's just, they say it's not a judgment. A being doesn't ask to judge it. It's just an automatic energy shift.
And like Ian said, it's about, why you're doing it. I believe in self-defense. If a person broke into my house and was trying to murder me and my husband or children or something like that, if I had to, I would kill them. You could consider that black magic, a dark act, but done in defense of others and yourself in the face of odds, it's like it's you or them. And although I would never want to be put into that position, and I hope I never am, I would not consider that was an evil act. It was something that was pressured and put on me.
And it still doesn't. Let's talk about that for a moment. If something like that happened, it still doesn't. You still would get the karma of like killing the person, but it would be offset by all the positive karma of saving the people. So you'd end up with a net positive result rather than a negative to yourself. So there's a lot to it, and it's hard to tell ahead of time what any act you do what consequences it might have.
You just do your best.
Best thing is to be real careful not to try to do any black magic.
Well, I think the negative consequences of that would be all the therapy that you would have to do.
Well, that could be definitely part of it.
Yeah, for the guilt that you would feel or the horror that you would feel about the experience and the trauma and all the other stuff you'd have to work through.
Of course, but then you've got sociopaths that wouldn't have any of that.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
they wouldn't care though, one way or the other. But yeah, that's that. Robert says, Beth, ask them to send me a good vibe to create vegan money. Oh, Beth says it's expensive. My daughter-in-law and stepson are vegan, and they work magic on vegan food. And Beth says, that's right, Ian. And Beth says, I'm the same way, Siofra. Carla says, I prefer brown magic. When I was reading definitions, you know how we love to have definitions of everything? According to the definitions I saw at the time, I'm a gray witch. Because I will use self-defense magic if I feel I need to. And I will not be sorry about it. It's like, I I get the Saturnian judges and everybody else I can think of involved in the process and say, it's like one of the main things would do would be a thing that would shine a light on a person and a situation and get all the powers that I know to say, have a look at this. What do you think needs to be done? Please do it and take care of this situation in whatever seems the best format possible. So here you go. It's kind of like there's so much stuff going on all the time. It's not like they're not wanting to pay attention, but they don't know what to look at. That's what I think. And so you can use that kind of magic to like shine a light on it and say, everybody pay attention to this thing right here. Let's see what happens now. And then whatever the results are is what they are. So I guess I am a gray witch in that sense. But when people used to ask me if I was black witch or white witch, I said I'm a green witch before it became a term. Carla says, same here. And Beth says, Robert hearts. Robert says, brownies magic with a triple layer of chocolate and fresh cream. Ooh, num num. Too bad that would harm Ian.
Well, go with the triple layer of chocolate, though.
Yeah. Carla's nodding in agreement. Rock says, magic brownies. And Max Paula says, grin. Carla says, all about balance. Well, and, we make mistakes. That's kind of, and we react the best way we can in the moment that we are in, and hopefully then learn if we've made a mistake. Mistakes are human. There's just a problem if you never learn from them. You need to learn from mistakes that you make, things that don't work. That's what I think of, is like, you tried this and it failed completely. That was a mistake, whether it's like in creating something or cooking something or a relationship with someone. You figure out what it is that wasn't working. It was the wrong person, it was the wrong ingredient, you forgot to read the instructions. My mom was really good at not reading instructions of anything. She would buy something and then she would start doing it and it wouldn't work, and she'd go like, why isn't this working? And I would go, did you read the directions? No. So then I would grab whatever it was and start reading the directions, going, oh, okay. I guess I should have read the directions. So yeah. Robert says, eating food creates balance most of the time. There are exceptions, of course. Carla says, mom and and I's relationship. All about balance. Yep. I think the most important thing is to learn from what's happening around you. Try and learn something from it for yourself. Doesn't mean you can necessarily affect other people with it, but if you can affect yourself, that's a huge thing. A lot of people don't know how to change and they're afraid of it. And they're not willing to do it. So if you are, yay. Yay to you. A lot of times people won't admit when they've done something that didn't work or made a mistake, because then they feel it throws a shade on all the life that they've had before, especially like addicts. It's really sometimes very difficult for them because, or leaving a bad relationship. A lot of times people stay in a bad relationship longer because they don't want to feel like they're a failure, that they failed at something. And yet, if they don't leave, they could end up dead. So, and leaving is sometimes the best thing someone can do when it comes down to your personal health and so forth, whatever it happens to be. So Carla says, no, about repeating patterns and doing the same thing that doesn't work. Ah, I see. Robert says, no surprise, but some types of spiritual guides do guide us in life about money or food or people to interact with. Instinct, yes, following your instinct and your nudges in the right direction.
Well, and I think everybody has their spiritual guides helping them, but they're not necessarily aware of it. And in the case of them not being aware of it and not paying attention, their spiritual guides get less and less interested in them.
Well, if they're not heard at all, no one ever pays attention.
Yeah.
Talk about a frustrating job.
Yeah, for all the people who ask how to get in touch with a spiritual guide, start paying attention is probably the best way, and let them come show themselves to you and just try to be aware of that.
Learn how to listen. Again, communication. Listening is more than just listening to someone talk. Listening is listening to life and listening to all the things that are going on around you in the universe. Listening is going outside and hearing the wind and the rustle in the leaves and the chirps of birds and the walk of animals. Listening is being in the environment that you're in instead of always overriding it with whatever's going on in your head. We're always surprised when we go for a nature walk and we see someone coming with music coming out of their head, you know, listening to something loudly or what have you, and go camping. And we've been in a couple of campgrounds where people were playing such loud music that you couldn't hear yourself think.
Well,
And I'm
yeah,
like, what was the point of coming out here in the first place if all they were going to do? And then the people on the walks, they're in such a hurry to get where they're going. They're like barreling up the mountain or down the trail or what have you, and not paying any attention to everything that's around them or anything that's around
Oh
them.
yeah, yeah. It's like, what's the point of? Yeah,
Yeah, and so
exactly.
they're not listening. They probably don't listen to each other either. It's like they can't listen to the basics. So communication starts with that. I think you can't communicate with something if you don't know how to be still and quiet in yourself to be able to hear and feel what the message is, the communication is,
Yeah,
the world is trying to give
spirit
you.
guides, even just having a desire to get in touch with them and just doing that, like maybe several times a day, and then just sit silently and see if anything comes up, even that'll help attract them and get them closer and just, yeah.
Barbara says, yes, instincts indeed. So how can we be certain we really aren't controlled by external will or free will is preserved? You make up your own mind. Yeah. I mean, just because the spirit tells you to do something or inspires you to do something doesn't mean you have to listen. That's up to
Well,
you. You
and
exercise it.
I guess I'm feeling like talking about stuff at the moment. So most people don't have free will. I mean, everybody kind of has free will. But in reality, most people are so conditioned by what they've been through in the past and their automatic reactions and things that they really don't have free will. And that's something that Barton talks about in the novel Verbato when he tells a guy, uh, he's talking about someone he knows, and he says, well, you think you have, the guy thought he had free will, and he says, okay, all you have to do is not be at the powder tower by 10 o'clock tonight or whatever it was in town. Just avoid that and you'll prove that you have free will, because Bard looked in the future and saw where he was going to be, scried it out. And the story goes along for a while, but basically he couldn't avoid being there no matter how hard he tried. He decided he was just going to go home and go to sleep, and that was it. So he would not go out of his house. But he ended up at the powder tower anyway because all of his built-in um, thought forms and automatic reactions and things like that. So even though people technically have free will, most of them don't really until they free themselves from all their hindrances and their own
Absolutely.
desires and things like that.
That's why I said exercise it.
Yep. Yep.
You have to use it if you want to have it. Carla says, I know for a fact that I was guided here from a whole other group. I was supposed to see her making that wand. Aw. Pixie says, learn to hear the whispers. Yes. Barbara says, yes, listening. Some spiritualists said many spirits are listening and we can't hear them. And Pixie, indeed. Pixie says, most good spirits won't yell. Barbara says, true that, Pixie. Yeah. Yeah, if they're yelling at you to do something, you should question it. And you don't have to do anything a spirit tells you to. We had that one guy we were looking into at one point. His information looked somewhat reasonable when we first saw it and got the first part of it, looked okay, paid for the second part of it, and then it was like alarm bells going off. Because he had his very first out-of-body experience. The very first spirit he met said, hate is the secret to all power. You must learn to hate. And he said, okay. And then he learned to hate and was very powerful. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You are walking a dark path. This is like the beginning of a very dark path. You're going to have consequences. You're going to owe this guy, I don't know, maybe the rest of eternity after you're not in this body anymore. I'm really concerned for this guy, but I thought it's his problem. He's the one who's doing it. But it was a good lesson in We have this weird mythos that spirits can't lie, you can't lie with telepathy, and that's not true. People can lie with telepathy. Spirits can lie. They say whatever they want to say if they're not a kind of spirit that's out for your best interest. So just because a spirit, a god, a goddess, an angel, whatever it seems to present itself as, tells you to do something, if you don't take the time you need to think about what that means and whether you're really on board with it or not, you're doing yourself a disservice. And then you're not using your free will either, because you're just going along with whatever. Carla says, mine can be ornery. Robert says, nice points, Ian, conditioning, habits, religion, etc. Dixie says, most people don't understand free will, truly. They just play the roles. Yeah. Robert says, they talk or control our intuitions in some cases. Free will, then, it is somewhat not 100%. Haley says, oh my God, you are talking about Jason Liu? I remember hearing him say that, and it shook me deeply. Well, maybe, because I don't remember his name, because that was so many years ago. We found his ad in a shamanic book magazine or something. It was a shamanic magazine.
It's been a long time ago. I probably still got the little thing around here.
But whoever he is, that's exactly. And I thought, like, wow, this is bad. It went against every fiber of my being, let's say. Carlos says, oh no, I mean, like, when the bananas and like when our guinea pig showed up in the clouds after we buried her, like their presence is very known. Yeah, and you can see that kind of stuff if you're paying attention. Dixie says, true, any angel's spirit or galactic advice is just their opinion. We are the boots and hearts on the ground. We make the coherent choice. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, they're coming from a completely different perspective. They're coming from a very long-term view. You know, a moment of their time and a moment of our time is not the same. You know, a moment in their time can be our entire lifetime or longer. So they're going to have a different perspective, and it's always good to hear different perspectives, but then you have to decide for yourself what you're going to do with, if that's applicable to your current situation and who you are, what your capabilities are, and all that stuff. So, yeah, just because a voice says, do this, doesn't mean you have to follow. Like, wow. Free will is a good subject, though. Because it really talks about that. I mean, I consider that that's part of it. Okay, so my experience with the medical people, that was a good experience with that. Because I had the one medical professional who was saying, you need to do this, you're going to break your back, and that'll be the end of you. Which annoyed me, because that's a fear tactic. And then I had my concerns that I'd had for years about it, and I tried to address those concerns, and she says, I've never had anybody have a bad reaction to this in the 30 years that I've been using it. And of course, she's wanting me to do something that hasn't been around for 30 years to start with, but okay. Just because no one else has had a bad reaction to this medication doesn't mean I might not. My body is very weird that way. And so I chose to ignore her. And I told her I would look into it. And then she actually called it in, and I got a call from the hospital to go down to get this done. And I'm like, excuse me? What? I have some concerns. And I'm talking to the technician. She's going like, oh my God, you need to talk to your doctor about this. First she says I should talk to the person who recommended it. I said I tried, but she was completely dismissive and flippant, indeed, about it, which sent off alarms for me. And so I had a doctor's appointment coming up, and so I talked to my doctor. And my doctor looked at me and she says, if you had taken this, you would have had the worst negative reaction that is possible. You can't take it, not now. You have certain things you have to do first. And I'm like, well, you know, she just arranged all this. I think I got into trouble, like I said. But
well, I hope you did.
She shouldn't be doing that.
It's going to cause people health issues.
Because she is not actually a doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, she's the person that works with my hormones and stuff like that, and whatnot. But she's
yeah, that ain't helping.
She shouldn't be prescribing this kind of medication.
That ain't helping, and she needs to get in trouble.
Yep. So, you know, that's a pretty recent real-world example of me using my will instead of allowing her to push me into doing something, because the infusion she wanted me to take is once every 6 months. So that means that if I did that, that substance would be in me for 6 months. And if I had a bad reaction to it, There would be nothing I could do. That would be it. So yeah, there's opportunities everywhere for you to make your own decision about things. And I'm glad that I've come far enough. I mean, when I was younger, we never questioned anything. I would do anything a doctor said because they were gods. They knew everything. So glad I've grown.
Thank God we know better now.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness we know better. Yes. So Pixie says, true, any angel, we did that. Carla says, I connect with A.A. Michael, that's how I see it. And he showed up in my mom's doctors as Michael, Angel, Mike, all the first names of her doctors. This is a good name. But you try to use your best instincts when it comes to things. I was thinking about sociopaths the last couple of days. When I worked with a chiropractor, he hired another chiropractor to come into his practice, and listening to that man talk, the way he said things, I knew he was a sociopath. I had absolutely no doubt whatsoever. And I went to the chiropractor and his wife, and I said, this man is a sociopath. He's going to cause trouble. You're going to lose stuff. Oh, this is going to be bad for you. You need to get rid of him now before it's too late. And they didn't listen.
They really should have listened.
They really should have listened. It was bad. And I actually succeeded in getting that guy's chiropractic license revoked. I testified against him and got him out of the business because he was a danger. He injured several of my clients, and one of them enough that we had enough evidence to actually file a complaint with the chiropractic board. So I was doing stuff on a magical end and on reality. It's like that's the thing. You can't just do one or the other. You got to combine them. So if you're going to do spell work, magic, or whatever, and you get a result, then you have to follow up and do stuff to maintain that result, and do the changes that need to happen in order to keep that result. Otherwise, it just starts to go back. It doesn't. It has to solidify into reality. I guess that's what it is. You're trying to materialize and manifest it down, and that's where the physical stuff, working with bureaucracies and yeah, compliance boards and licensing bureaus and whatever, to make sure that it manifests itself down completely in order to succeed. So yeah, it's a dance with all that stuff. It's like both sides are important in order to complete the process. Melissa says there seems to be a rise in pharmaceutical commercials, it seems. Oh yeah, they're always doing that though. Now they got famous people who are on the rolls that are advertising their stuff. The weight loss thing right now we've noticed lately has come out, where I'm wondering how much they're paying for the, yeah, for the person to use their product and talk about their results. But it's personal, individual. You have to decide. Don't get pushed by celebrity or slick commercial processes or whatever. I had that one thing I thought was a great deal for Ian, and I bought it. It turned out to be a scam. And we got our money back, but wow.
Maybe only because you use the PayPal card where you get it back anyway. Yeah.
And they gave it back. Yeah, they reversed the charges. They weren't going to. They said, no, you got exactly what we advertised. I said, no, I did not. No, that's what we sent. That's what you ordered. No, I did not. That's not what you said this was. It was a pair of headphones. And Ian actually did a review of them. One of the ones that's seen fairly often. He saved a bunch of people from buying that product by doing the review on his other channel.
Well, I didn't exactly review them. I told everybody what a piece
happened.
of junk it was, and these things were like $1. This was a dollar store. It's like was $78 or something like that. And what we got was a dollar store piece of junk, little earbud type of thing. It was literally just a piece of junk.
It's probably worth maybe $5.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't even understand voice on it. It was just awful.
Yep, it was not what was advertised, but they had a slick commercial.
Yeah, slick AI commercial.
Yep.
These nice headphones, and then they show up with this little piece of junk. I just showed it. I shook it on the screen and showed people how floppy and like it's just like literally a piece of junk.
Yeah, and people wrote in and thanked him so much because they were thinking of buying it, and they did their due diligence and did a search, and apparently
Yeah, because
his little bit on
you
it
know,
popped right up.
slick ad, and then they do that.
So Melissa says, I see the schizophrenic too. It seems like they are trying to normalize the push to push the meds. Um, Sometimes meds are required,
Yeah.
especially with brain disorders. It just depends on whether they do the right ones and use them the right way and it's the right fit, just like everything else. I'm weird in that a lot of things don't work on me the way they're supposed to work on other people. So hopefully
You know,
their doctors are paying attention.
I have to say, my sister is literally, you know, she's literally psychotic, and she'd be way better off if she were on some kind of meds.
And she was at one point and was better very briefly. Before she came up here, actually,
You
she
know,
was
but
already
you
off of them.
can't make her take them, can't do anything. So
Yep, it's sad. Melissa says, oh, laugh out loud, Ian is really going to town with the piece of junk. Well, we have our opinions and they're quite clear.
well, yeah, well, you know, it was. Stop that. Watch her accidentally click.
Yep, don't want to accidentally click on the wrong thing. That's so easy. I was checking out opal prices, opal beads. I thought, ooh, that would be cool. And I clicked on them. $695 for 17 inches. I'm like, okay, not buying those. Really nice opals, Ethiopian AAA opals, fire opals, and I'm sure they're fabulous, but $700, not so much. I think with that I could get 20% off because it's over $400. They have a coupon for over $400, but still, that's still way too much money. Even if I got $120 off of it. So, yeah. But anyway. Dixie says, opal, yeah, super expensive. Australia has loads, but so expensive. Melissa says, do you have plans? For what? For another project? Uh, well, I showed this at the beginning. I made myself a crown. Okay. For the Amethyst Crystal Web project. I don't have plans for another project like that, but I thought I could post a picture of this and have it as a custom option for people who wanted to have a magical crown made by me. So that was my project. And somebody wants me to make a pin, which I've never done before, so that's another project I'm working on. I'm gonna. I had a small of the leaf left, one of the jade leaves, so I've got that. And the Amethyst Crystal Web full moon is going to be next Saturday on No King's Day, the 31st, and I'll post that. Teresa says, I've been loving opals lately. And Pixie says, oh, but opals are so beautiful. Melissa says, oh, I like that, Siofra. Pixie says, very nice crown, thank you. I'll be wearing it for the full moon. Because this one won't, like, scratch me. Since I now know about how to make them with a single piece of wire instead of trying to wrap it. That was just my amateurish way of trying to make crowns. So I have several other crowns I need to redo and get them so that they're not, so scratchy on my head. Do you create crow jewelry? I don't know, unless you're saying crown. So I don't know how to answer that. I think crows like anything that's shiny, and I don't give it to them because they take it away.
Like a crow.
Oh, something shaped like a crow. That's an idea. No, I haven't done that yet, though. Right now, I'm just learning the basics. I've been seeing other people do stuff like that. They make butterflies, dragonflies, spiders, all kinds of things, animals and so forth, but I haven't gotten into that yet. Dixie says there's a place in Australia that puts opals in oyster shells so the pearl grows around the opal. They are stunning and extra expensive. Wow. Well, Melissa said crows. Yeah, I think you were right about what she meant. 'Cause, But I answered all the versions that I could think of. So I think I got it covered. Yes, Ian was accurate. You were correct. He is also literal, but not quite as literal as me. Haley says, love that. Would love to work with you on a crown. ETG, but have a wonderful day. Gotta go. Siofra and Ian. Bye.
Bye.
I'll get that posted this first, hopefully this coming week. What I want to work on. I have a fair number of clients this week, but I should have time here and there. And have a focus for that. I've not done a custom piece. Melissa says, I have to say, I might have picked up a cool job, and that means I can buy anything from you and you can bless it. Well, I always bless them before I mail them. But yes. Teresa says, just searched opal reels. How stunningly beautiful. Yes, they are stunningly. I can buy something from you. Opal pearls. Oh, not reels. Okay. That makes more sense. I was thinking reel is R-E-E-L-S, so thank you for that. Yes, I bet they are absolutely fantastic. Like, wow. People ideas that they come up with are pretty spectacular. There's a lot of beautiful things out there. Oh, Ian's showing me a picture of them. Cool. Awesome looking. Ooh, that's like rainbows. Melissa says, Siofra. Yes. That's me. Is there a cause you like for animals, women, etc.? Well, I like a lot of causes for animals, women, children. I don't know. Dixie says, me want one, haha. Bella says, is there a magic that can be done without candles? Yeah, I don't use candles very
All kinds
much.
of candles. All kinds of things can be done without candles.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need candles at all. If you need a light that's a special light, you can buy those electric ones and have it as a light and decide that it's fire.
Well, and I prefer oil lamp myself. I use a little oil lamp with paraffin. And I like it because it's dark enough I can meditate and not have the light bothering me, and it's more of a natural type of effect.
Yeah, candles are used for representation, so you can have an unburnt candle as a representation of fire. You don't have to actually light it.
Yeah, but you know,
But there's other things you can use.
There's all the candle magic, and that is valid. But you know, there's lots and lots and billions of types of other things you can do without needing candles.
Teresa says, now you have me wanting opal beads. What did you go and do that? It's like cookies.
Now I want some cookies.
Oh, no. Melissa says, is it an open flame?
My oil lamp isn't. It's just like one of those.
It's like a kerosene lamp.
Yeah, except
It's got a chimney.
Yeah, it uses liquid paraffin. It's just a little. Well, I think we've got all ours put away. We had a bunch more out here.
He's going to look and see if we have
I'm just
any
gonna
out
see if
here.
I can just come up with one quick.
Ella says, huh? What are the alternatives of candles? You could have a picture of a phoenix, a fire sprite, a dragon, some animal that represents fire for fire. If you're not doing candle magic, you don't need to have a candle. And if you need something to write on, you can use a vegetable or a fruit, and you can draw on that. And you can use the earth instead of the fire, like by burying it and letting it slowly dissolve into the earth. I mean,
Here's the oil lamp without the chimney. Here's one of the oil lamps with old one that I was using. This has an external flame that comes from the wicks on the sides there.
This is one that it's sticky. He painted.
Yeah, no, it's sticky just because the stuff dried up on it.
Yeah.
The oil ran on it.
And that the light comes out of here, so it is an open flame. Now I'm all sticky.
But it looks like I've got all the little ones with the hoods must be in.
Now I'm all sticky. All right. Carla says, we just got Girl Scout cookies. Melissa says, thank you, Ian. Oh, that's interesting. Ella says, I'm an artist. That's so easy then. Well, yeah. I mean, think outside of the box. It's like, just because there's a thing that says use a candle to do this, doesn't mean that you can't substitute.
Here's
Some
a little oil lamp that's missing the little chimney goes over the top, but normally it has a glass chimney that just
yeah, just like a regular
slips right over
kerosene
here.
lamp.
Yeah.
At least that one's not sticky. I'm still sticky from the last one. Because it says, oh yes. I mean, sometimes candles are used to represent the god and the goddess. So if you don't want to have those, what you can do is have a statue of the god and the goddess and use that instead. So, there's no requirement. And then if you can't burn things, for example, a lot of times people use lit candles to burn their incense or what have you, to light it. But if burning isn't something that is good, smoke can be bad for people, depending on their health conditions or needs or the environment they happen to be in. You can make a spray out of the substance, like took my sage from my garden and put it in alcohol and let it sit for several months, and then took off the liquid that was left. I disappeared. There I go. Something happened to the picture. I disappeared. Now I'm back.
That was it. Okay, everything's working fine. So,
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I was a black. Think about the purpose that it's supposed to be for, and you think about that, and then figure that out.
well, and just as far as just a fire representation goes, Western Hermeticism, like the Golden Dawn and such, often use a fire wand. I prefer an actual representation, like a candle or a flame or something, but
Right.
yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like you think
Yeah.
about what it's supposed to represent and come up with something else to represent it, or think about the purpose of what it's supposed to do. I mean, the easiest way to send things into the fire element, of course, is through flame. But it doesn't have to be a candle.
But as far as using other things, you can certainly send something into the water element too. You're using that instead of the fire. You're buffering again there for some reason.
Yes, I'm telling you, that's what's happening. I think we're getting close to the end of our show, though. We've only got a couple of minutes. Melissa says, oh, yes, they might have some of those at the antique store. So it looks like our show has decided it's time for it to end.
Apparently starting to have some sort of network problems.
Yeah, not showing up here because this one is working fine, but it's probably in the house. Teresa says, make a fire doll dressed in fire colors. Flexible says, good evening. Hi, Flexible. We're at the end of the show. Sorry, come earlier next time. We're here at 2 p.m. and this is now 3:30. Melissa says, do you have a video on that content? Maybe. Carla says, I burn petitions and sigils. Dixie says, thank you both. Have a great week. All much love. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here with your.
Yeah, the universe decided that we were done, apparently. So, see you guys next week. And some of you, I'll see you on Saturday when we do the Amethyst Full Moon Crystal Web project and stuff. Melissa says, thank you. You're welcome, Melissa. And, yeah, so. Ian says, goodbye, all. Glad you were all here to talk to us. We had a fun conversation as usual. You never know where it's going to end up. So it was good. Melissa says, bye-bye. Bye. Now go on with the rest of your day. Something good will happen. Carla says, Saturday, I'll see you then. Ian says, blessed be everyone. Flexible says, ha ha, yeah, till next week. Sorry. This is what happens. I'm being relative. Blessed be everybody.